What's up, guys? Welcome back to Analytical Strategy and the 20th episode of Australian Survivor. Wow, 20 episodes already. It has really flown by this season. It'll likely just be a quick one today with not too much to really unpack within this episode. So we are down to the final 6 of this season, and that 6 consists of 5 women and 1 man. And that man is King George, the alpha male. Who would have thought? I mean, seriously, did anyone ever think this possibly could have happened? It's actually nuts. It's absolutely crazy. Good on him. Well played, George. Well played. So alliance-wise, it's now completely Brawn versus Brawn after Andrew's elimination, with Hayley, Way, Cara and George in the majority, with Danny and Flick on the bottom. So Danny now sees Hayley and Way as the swing votes in the game at the moment to potentially make another play at George and Cara, who also have an unknown idol in their possession. Also, that leads to another crazy thing, and that's how much Hayley has flown under the radar since she came back from Redemption. I mean, she was literally the target of everyone in the game at that point in time. She was labelled as being way too smart that she had to go at all costs. And since she's come back, everyone just seems to have forgotten about all those attributes that make her so dangerous and just let her coast by. For her and George to have made it to this stage is a credit to them both, it really is. So the immunity challenge featured pretty early on in this episode, with Way and George giving up essentially in the opening moments of the challenge, so it was immediately just down to 4 people who could have won that necklace. Not going to lie, I wasn't too impressed with either of them for not even giving it a try. It is the final 6 in Survivor. You should be doing whatever you can, including overcoming your fears, to not just get further in the game, but also to just prove something to yourself, and show that you have what it takes in you to do whatever you put your mind to. But hey, each to their own. I mean, could you have imagined even Jeff Probst hosting this challenge? He would have been tearing into both of them, telling them to dig deep and overcome their fears and really just give it a go. But anyway, between the 4 that actually competed, it was a pretty close race, coming down to another shootout at the end of the challenge, with Danny again having the accuracy shooting buckets at the end to beat out Hayley, Cara and Flick, getting her first immunity win of the season, and man, what a great time to get it. So after the challenge with Danny being immune, George obviously has his eyes set on flicking Flick out of this game, which will give her the opportunity to select and earn for a 2 in 3 chance to be sent off to the jury and a 1 in 3 chance to stay in the game. So as expected, it looks as though Danny and Flick are going to try and reel in Hayley and Way to have a crack at George yet again. But to me, I think it was really all smoke and mirrors just to fill in the time of the remainder of the episode. So with all these urns in play, I don't think Way and Hayley really ever properly considered this proposition, and I was extremely confident that Flick was going to be getting the majority of the votes regardless. Cara, however, did seem genuinely anxious and paranoid at all of these side conversations that were taking place, and with an idol in her pocket, she may just decide to play it on George or herself just to be safe. Also, just on the topic of these urns, although I personally wouldn't have really enjoyed this twist at any point of the season, at this stage in the game I think they are especially a big mistake. Now, I do understand that production needed to come up with an extra non-elimination episode to make up for Chelsea's unexpected departure, but I personally think there are much better ways to do it. Now, I honestly would rather see much more behind the scenes stuff or unseen footage rather than these non-elimination episodes. I would find that much more interesting than these types of twists. It would give us much more insight into characters that haven't gotten much of an edit especially. These urns also make it more unlikely for a big move to be made, as that person can get straight back in the game as easily as they were voted out of the game. This was also supported by the players at Tribal Council, saying look, maybe we shouldn't make a big move because of these urns in play, because they could come straight back in the game and make this blindside redundant. I also thought Danny had a pretty interesting tactic of just going ham at Tribal, being like, George, according to Hayley and Way, you're going home, mate. I'm not sure if she genuinely believed this, or she was just trying to stir the pot a bit. But I think that combined with some of Way's comments increased Cara's paranoia levels overall. Way saying that some conversations in the game can be tactics to divert the vote to someone else, Cara probably interpreted this as, hey, Danny is being so blatant saying it's George going home, that it's probably all just a diversion that the votes are actually coming my way, and maybe I should play the idol for myself. I mean, I can't really blame her, to be honest. If you feel like you're in danger this deep in the game, you should just play the idol, that's what it's there for. But at least based on the edit, it did seem pretty obvious that she didn't need to. But I can understand the paranoia can get the best of you in a game of Survivor, and it is better to be safe than sorry. But in the end, as expected, there were no crazy moves, as Flick was the one in the firing line and Flick was the one that received the majority vote. But we know this may not be the end, with a chance for her to stay alive in this game with the urns in play. And she was able to smash the right urn, get that save scroll, and stay in the game. It was great news for Flick, but it was a little bit of a waste of an episode, but I'd honestly prefer it to happen now than for these urns to stay in play and for it to occur in the final 4 or 5, so I am glad it's out of the way and done with. So next episode, now that there are no urns in play, maybe there is more of a chance of the likes of Haley and Wei flipping to get George out of the game, as now he cannot re-enter the game. And there are also no idols left as well. So although I'm guessing Kara's will be replanted, so there is that chance for one of Danny or Flick to win immunity, and the other one to find an idol for them to both be safe, to mix it up a bit as well. But if neither of these happen, we may be watching the same episode as we did tonight on repeat with no urn in play. But we shall wait and see. There's not too much else to report, so it's just a quick one from me today, with one more episode tonight to round out the week. This is Analytical Strategy signing out once again, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.